Hello, evening, everybody. How are we doing? Apologies that we are later than billed. Hollie's going to sack me basically because I forgot to press to go live on the stream. This is what happens, Hollie, when you're not here on hosting duties and you pass the baton on to somebody else. So apologies for that. I would like to think us Spurs fans have just got over the disappointment of Sunday, but because Hollie's not here, we've had to go big in the transfer market, and we've had to get in Uncle Albert from Albert JTV, who is an Arsenal fan, to go through it all with us. So, Uncle Albert, firstly, how are you?
I'm all right, man. We're definitely like, because I can see we're definitely like, Hollie, go back to StreamYard, right? Make it bloody well easy for Wes and everybody else. But no, yeah, thanks for having me on. Hollie, it's nice to get an invite onto your channel back again, even though you're not actually here. But you did say to me you've got commitments, but it's a pleasure to be on doing a live stream with Wes, man. So let's get through it, man. Let's get onto it.
Yeah, let's get onto it. And obviously, Albert, that beaming smile on your face must be from the result on Sunday. Give us a little bit of a view, if you can, from the dark side of North London.
The beautiful red wine side of North London, man. Yeah, it was. Listen, we had to wait a long time as Arsenal fans actually to beat Tottenham away in a Premier League game. It was just shy of 10 years, Thomas Rosicky Day. So to get back-to-back wins in your new stadium, mate, it feels super sweet. But it was. I said it at the time when I did the live watch along for my channel and Judges' channel. It's a really weird game to analyze, man. Tottenham started well, which I thought they would do, if I'm going to be honest with you. I thought Arsenal were very sloppy. Tomiyasu looked not out of shape, but what's the one looking for? He just didn't start particularly very well because defensively he's very good, man. Tommy, he's come up against some really good wingers in the league. So very sloppy. I thought Trossard held us the ball too long. We was very sloppy, just generally sloppy around our passing and the one touch or two touch and trying to have some patterns of play that wasn't really there. But lo and behold, what's been Arsenal's strength this season is our set pieces. And I said to you before we went live, Arsenal actually been a bit of a drought in terms of our set pieces. But I think in all comps now, I think obviously not including penalties, we've got 22 goals, which is phenomenal turnarounds. Nicholas Jova deserves a contract extension. He's been working wonders with the team, really drilled them. So obviously, I think it's been spoken about with Vicario in terms of the corners for quite a while now, set pieces, which many teams had sort of targeted, and obviously we did come Sunday just gone. But the first one, Wes, that can happen, man. Like the first one with the own goal, it can happen. It's not, own goals can happen. But the second set piece, said to you, the goalkeeper's got to come and take everything. That you cannot let a guy head a ball from that close to the goal. That's the goalkeeper's meat and drink. So that shouldn't happen. But where Arsenal were ruthless was the counter attack and the goal, because that was from your attack. And the pass was on from Havertz. He just got executed. He did. Saka first class, first touch, and a trademark star boy Bukayo Saka finish. So to be 3-0 up in a game of such importance, obviously where Arsenal are in the league at the moment, was huge. And I actually don't think we really got out of second gear, really.
Yeah, no, I'd agree with that. I'd agree. And that was I think the slightly frustrating thing is that I was watching the game and I'm going, Arsenal haven't been that great overall, but yet they were 3-0 up. Like Arsenal hadn't got out of second gear, yet they were 3-0 up inside 37 minutes. And the thing that annoyed me the most and really wound me up was how naive Tottenham were. And I think I mentioned to you before, like we set up Arsenal had 3 corners in the game set up exactly the same way on every corner.
Yeah.
The first 2 you scored from, and I think there was one in the second half with a bit of a poor delivery from Declan Rice, but it was just baffling, like how we didn't learn and we haven't learned from our mistakes, especially from set pieces. And I think that's been obviously our Achilles heel this season, is not only defending set pieces but attacking them as well. Because I don't even think we've scored many, if any, goals from a set piece this season, which is a real cause for concern. And I think the way Arsenal set up was really, really interesting, because you obviously had Ben White on the goalkeeper, which he's been doing, I would argue, all season. But then it was like almost this sort of like bus stop queue at the back post. And then just as the player's about to take the corner, you sort of move, and it's a bit of chaos. And then because you've got the running starts, attacking the ball is a lot easier. Like, I've never been a fan of zonal marking or anything like that. And I think that game in particular really highlighted it. And I was sat in the South Stand at Spurs, and it was almost like at every corner, the people in and around where I was were going, "Oh, here we go," because it just felt like Arsenal were going to score. It felt like a corner kick for Arsenal was almost like a penalty. It was like, there, go on, have a goal, like literally just have a goal. And I think that was the most frustrating thing. And I look at on the balance of play overall, I think you could argue between both boxes, Spurs were probably better on the balance of play. But I think it was just those key moments where Arsenal took their opportunities, and I think that was the devastating thing. I think the third goal killed us. It sucked the life out of the stadium, and it was like, right, that's the game gone. I think had we gone in at 2-0 or maybe 2-1, obviously if the Van der Ven goal goes our way, because you never know what can happen with VAR these days, with the lines being drawn, how thick they want to draw it, where they want to draw it, angles and all this. You're thinking, bloody hell, right, okay. I think had we gone in at 2-0 or 2-1, I think that's a completely different dynamic on the game, and potentially, we get something from the game. I don't know if you felt the same.
Like I said, it's a strange one, because it's quite a strange game to analyze, because obviously Arsenal went 3-0 up, but we actually hadn't really played that well. So I did expect better sort of in the second half. Like I said, there's key moments. Obviously, the Van der Ven goal gets chalked off. We actually scored one, but that was obviously that was offside with Ødegaard. I was, it's harder to watch along because the bloody noise is off. So you're thinking, oh, what's going on? Oh, it's offside. But yeah, I expected Arsenal to come out and play a little bit better. Like I said, we were very careless in possession in that sort of I'd say the first 35 minutes, really. But we did start off a bit better in the second half, a little bit more better control. Because, when you're 3-0 up in a North London derby away from home, you don't need to sort of go out and try and make it 4s and 5s. If you can, then it'd be fantastic. And, if it wasn't for Vicario, it could have been 4-0 with Saka's effort on goal. I said to you before, it'd been interesting that if that had gone in, because the Havertz run looked a little bit offside. But we're never going to know, because obviously Vicario saved it. But if that goes in at 4-0, then I don't know what you guys did in the stadium. I mean, you probably might have been getting ready to go home. But the thing is, like I said, people talk about the possession stats. I'm like, there's been many games that Arsenal had this season where we're 60%, 65%, 70% dominating possession. But, there's times we've gone in at half-time all square, or we just conceded a poor goal. So in that context, I get it. But we did, thanks to David Raya, we gifted obviously a first goal. He actually recovered pretty well after that, to be fair to him. But and obviously we could wait the penalty, Declan Rice not looking over his blind side. And then obviously it becomes squeaky bum time for sort of the last sort of 5-10 minutes. So like I said, I think if Arsenal conceded a third, I mean, I don't know what I would have done. Well, not what I would have done, what the Arsenal fans stadium would have done. But yeah, at this stage of the season, you know what it is? It's about getting the wins. Yes, you want to play well, but it's now at squeaky bum time of the season. We've only got 3 games left now. I think you've got 2 games in hand over Villa. So it's still a lot to play for, man.
Yeah, and Albert, you've helped me out there, because we're gonna bin the Arsenal stuff off, bin Derby Day off. You've had your 10 minutes, because our next game, and you would like to think from a Spurs point of view, it comes at a really good time. We're not waiting too long for it, but the only downside is it's Chelsea away at Stamford Bridge. Now, we've won once there in about 30 years. Well, I'm 30 next year, put it that way, and I've seen us win once at Stamford Bridge. It was on April Fool's Day in 2017, so that's a joke in itself. But Albert, obviously, you guys have played Chelsea fairly recently. I think it was last week.
Yeah.
Give us a bit of hope. What can we try and do to try and get a result at the Bridge?
That's the thing. If this fixture had been at your stadium, I probably would have been a little bit more confident for you. But because their record actually is pretty decent against I think they got a 2-2 draw against us. They drew. Was it the 4-4 game or 3-3 game with Man City at home?
Yeah.
They've got a good record against the other sides at home. Just away from home was the problem for them. But your record is not great there, man. But Chelsea to be fair, Chelsea have been a really poor side this season, man. I generally didn't think it'd be that bad, but they've got a striker up front in Nicholas Jackson, who's very, very raw. Probably one of the rawest strikers I've seen in terms of his overall game and his finishing. He's only 22, but he's got a good turn of pace. But you got the likes of Romero and especially Van de Ven to deal with that. They've got a midfield which is untried and tested. Yes, Gallagher works really, really hard, but you've got 2 young boys in there, and Caicedo, who doesn't particularly really have that much Premier League experience. Obviously, Endo's a World Cup winner, but just because you're a World Cup winner doesn't mean you're going to cut it in the Premier League. I didn't think he's going to come and boss it the first season round. And if you listen to some Chelsea fans and what you've probably seen as a Tottenham fan or an Arsenal fan, he's done okay. But, it takes time to adapt this league. But I think because of the situation you guys are in where you've got to win your games in hand to put the pressure on Villa, I know your record's not great there, but from what I've seen of Chelsea this season, I'd be pretty confident going there, man. I think they got Petrovic in goal at the moment. I don't know if Sanchez is injured. I don't know what's happened there with that situation, their goalkeeper situation. But obviously, Thiago Silva's going to be leaving at the end of the season. Even their centre-back pairings are not tried and tested really in terms of being in the league. So you've got to take advantage of them, man. You've got some players that have, you know what I mean? You've got some players, obviously Romero's been there a few seasons now. Is it his 3rd season, is it, at Tottenham?
Yeah, I think it might be actually. Yeah, 3rd or 4th.
Van de Ven settled in pretty well in his 1st season, even though he's had a long injury out. Don't know how you feel about Ben Davies. Poro's been a good signing this season for you guys. Good signing, sorry. He's settled in, shall I say, more so when he first joined. But yeah, I'd be confident, but you need your guys like your Maddison to step up because, like you said, even before the preview, he's got to play better because I don't think he particularly played really well against us. But listen, be confident you can go there and win, man. I know you ain't won there a long time, but this is not the same Chelsea side of a few seasons ago. And their league form suggests that. I think you're 12 points ahead of them in the league. So, yeah, listen, I'd be optimistic, man. They're not a good side. They're not a good side at all. And that's not me throwing shade. They're just not. I don't know how we drew at their stadium, personally. The 2-2 draw. And obviously, we showed them a clean pair of heels at the Emirates.
Brilliant. Yeah, I think obviously from a Spurs point of view, having the news today that unfortunately Ben Davies and Timo Werner are now out for the rest of the season. So Emerson Royale, your time is now, basically, because I have a feeling that he will come in at left back, as opposed to what I have seen a lot of people suggesting is shift Van de Ven to left back and put Dragoshin as the left side centre back. My thing with that is that when Dragoshin has played as a left-sided centre back, he's not looked comfortable playing on that left side of the defence, and I didn't think having a left footer at centre back would have been that much of a big issue. But when we've had somebody like Mickey who's come in and is left footed and is so, I don't know what it is with lefties, but they just seem a lot more gracious on the ball for some bizarre reason. And then you see Dragoshin, and I'm not saying Dragoshin is a bad defender or bad on the ball in any way. He just doesn't look, and the balance isn't quite there. He doesn't look comfortable playing there. And I think that was definitely evident in terms of our build-up play in game against Luton at home in particular. So I personally wouldn't start Dragoshin on tomorrow, against Chelsea, to play alongside Romero. But then, having said that, I don't know what other options we've got. We may see the return of Ryan Sessegnon, who has not been about at all. I don't even know if he's even alive or available, but yeah, who knows? So it could be a very, very interesting one in terms of how we set up against Chelsea tomorrow. But obviously, I know you mentioned Nicholas Jackson there. I think had he been alive when Tupac was alive, I think Tupac would still be alive if he was shooting at him. But is there any other sort of players from Chelsea that perhaps us as Spurs fans need to be wary of? And as I mentioned earlier, obviously you guys played them only last week.
Yeah, Madueke, man. Technically very, very good, man. He gave I can't remember the left back with Villa, Luca Dean. He gave him a bit of a torrid time in the second half, man. He scored a good goal as well. Actually, he gave Tomiyasu sort of the run for his money at the Emirates a few years ago. Technically very, very good. It'd be interesting to see how he does in the next sort of couple of seasons, but they've had a lot of injuries. But he's one to definitely look out for us. So I don't know who you're going to play at left back. You mentioned Dragusin. Obviously, I saw the news about Ben Davies going to be out as well. So he's definitely one player to look out for. Like I said, Jackson in terms of pace, getting on the half turn, look out for him as well. And obviously, if he is, I'm assuming he's not injured. Cole Palmer FC, should I say? If it wasn't for him, I generally don't know where they would be this season in terms of the league.
I think I saw something actually, Albert, whereby they did a thing in terms of if they took, or what the Premier League table would look like without Cole Palmer being at Chelsea, and I think Chelsea were worse off by 20 points, which is obviously massive in terms of where they want to be and where they want to get to.
Yeah, he's been phenomenal, man. Like, to be someone that said to me his first season, as bad as Chelsea have been, he's going to be up there in terms of top goal scorer in the Premier League. It's insane. He's done that. That's how good he's been, and that's in a poor Chelsea side. So if you get guys around him that that are probably a bit better, or maybe the Chelsea side need to settle in Poch's second season, then you might see even better turnaround. But you know what? There's probably a chance. We'll probably talk about England another time in the summer, but yeah, I hope the squad is 26. Put it that way.
Yeah, I think if it is Cole Palmer's, well, I mean, he should be on the plane anyway. But I think if it's 26, he's an absolute shoo-in. And I think his performances for Chelsea, I think everybody with a pair of eyes has seen that he's literally carried them through games. And I like the fact that for a young player, he's relished that responsibility of being the main man at somewhere like Chelsea, because the money that they've spent, and people talk about that a lot, but for me, it's more about how players have hid in this Chelsea team. Like, you look at, I know you mentioned them before, like Enzo and Caicedo. That's like £250 million on two midfield players, and they haven't really done anything. Like, they hide, for me, in moments where they're the ones that need to, stand up and be counted. I know it's not their fault with the price tags, but even if you're a Chelsea fan, surely you're looking at that level of investment and wanting and demanding more from those players in particular, because like I say, 250 million in your midfield, and it's like, you look at this Chelsea team and go, but they still need a midfielder. I mean, they need a lot, but they still need a midfielder. They still need a number 9. You've spent £1 billion. You still have, bits that you need to fix and you need to tweak. So if I'm a Chelsea fan, that would be my biggest concern, 100%.
Yeah. The thing with Caicedo, though, if you actually look at it, he actually hasn't had that. He hasn't had loads of Premier League experience. So no. it was a crazy amount of money to outlay. Fair play to Brighton, because obviously they've recruited. They've got that club has pulled in some good money on the sales of their players, man. And as you mentioned with Enzo, yes, he won the World Cup with Argentina, but what you do in a major tournament and what you do over the course of a 38-game season, and you're young and you're coming to the Premier League, I don't think he's necessarily torn up trees, but then I didn't think he would, West, if I'm going to be honest with you. Why would he in a Chelsea side like that? You've got so many youngsters, and they mentioned a few weeks ago when you had the players arguing about the penalty. I think that tells you everything about Chelsea at the moment.
Yeah,
It's
no, I
insane.
agree with that.
Embarrassing.
Yeah,
Completely embarrassing. But listen, man, have hope, man. Listen, you got games in hand. You know what you need to do. Go and apply the pressure on Villa and see where it takes you.
Yeah, I think for me personally, and I've said this all season, I think Champions League is a step too far for this group of players at this time. I think if we were to qualify for the Europa League, and if you'd have said that to any Spurs fan at the start of the season, and especially the day before we played Brentford, I would like to think that every Spurs fan would have gone, yeah, I'll snap your hand off and I'll take it right now, because we all thought we were going to finish 7th, 8th at best, right? When we haven't got Sir Harold Edward Kane in the team. Yeah, he gets the full name treatment. But who played absolutely unbelievably well last night again for Bayern Munich in the Champions League. But you add that into the mix, you losing Kane day before the season starts, new manager, quite a few new signings, don't know how they're going to adjust to the league. And this new way of playing, which we've seen at other clubs, has taken longer to implement, or if not been implemented at all in Man United's case. So I think the position that we're in, and I think somebody asked Ange about it in the build up to the derby, and it was like, do you think that Spurs should be, or would you have been happy? And he's like, well, no, I wouldn't be happy, but in terms of where we are, because I want to aim for the top, but I think where we are is a reflection of the work that we've done and what we've done so far this season. So I don't think Spurs fans can really grumble if we were to miss out on Champions League, and I think it would probably do the club a lot better, or do the club a lot of good, to be in the Europa League, because I think if we go in the Champions League and we're still trying to rebuild the team and rebuild the squad and stuff like that, with the lack of quality depth within the squad, we'll get found out and we'll get torn apart in games, and no fan wants that.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. You're back now. You was paused, man. You stuck in the mode there. You froze, but you're back. But now it's a good point you make, man, because I think because Villa had a run where they had some really indifferent results, man. I think that's why they're still kind of you can still sort of see them. Because I personally think they should have had that fourth place sewn up already by now, Villa, if it weren't for some of their results. They kind of pulled it back a bit now, but it's like I had a conversation with one of my Arsenal guys, like in terms of watching that game yesterday, the Madrid and Bayern Munich game. That's why I was concerned about Arsenal coming back into the Champions League, because you've got to take baby steps, or you've got to learn very quickly, because you're coming up against a different caliber of team. And there's anyone that watched a game yesterday, I mean, the levels, man, it is that deep. Like, I mean, look at the Toni Kroos pass for Vinicius, man. I mean,
yeah, and the movement for the goal as well from Vinny Jr. was unreal.
Yeah,
unreal.
That just encapsulates what you need to do at the elite level of the biggest competition, European wise anyway, club competition wise. So yeah, man, so I hear what you're saying in terms of the Champions League, because I was worried about Arsenal coming back into it, and they're going to need to be a bit, in regards to Arsenal, going to need to be a bit more street savvy and have many years back into it to even think about getting to a semi-final final.
Yeah, no, definitely. But I think I personally saw signs of that on Sunday in terms of that streetwise nature from Arsenal at times, like killing the game in moments when it needed to be killed and all of that kind of stuff. So I think Arsenal is sort of on the way. It pains me to say it, but I think you're on the way. But yeah, like I say, it bloody pains me to say it, to be honest. But that was the first time I was watching. I was like, yeah, these are streetwise players now. They've got it. They understand it. So, but yeah, Albert, moving on, because it's a busy week for Spurs. Yes. 3 games. We've had 2 weeks off, and then we get 3 in a week. It's like you wait for a bus, and then 3 come all in one. So we go from one horrendous record, like the one we have at Stamford Bridge, to one that's equally as horrendous. And we take a trip to Anfield on Sunday to play Liverpool, and again, we've not won there since 2010, and as a good friend of mine keeps reminding me every time we go to Anfield, we were still at school, mate, when you last beat us. So I'm thinking, yeah, cheers for that. So how do you see this one playing out? Should on paper be a really, really good game because both teams just love to go for it. Do you think we're in for a goal fest on Sunday, or is it going to be 0-0?
No, I'll be shocked if it's 0-0. Flipping hell. It's funny with Spurs because they've gone to Anfield in recent years, and I really think you should have won a couple at their ground, man. I really, really do, man. Like, you've had some really good humdingers and games, but you've ended up just not getting it done. Listen, I feel the pain, man. Arsenal we ain't won there since Arteta played, so that's how long ago. So, yeah, it's a long time ago, man. So yeah, like I said, last few times you've gone there, man, you've given them some problems, man. And Liverpool, the way they're playing at the moment, it's weird. I look at a lot of their fans and the sort of the arrogance and the cockiness has just completely gone from their souls.
Yeah.
And it started with that FA Cup game against United for me, with them. They've not won too many games of football. You can't keep playing against teams and conceding first. So if you go there and you do get ahead, it'd be very interesting to see how they bounce back because they've been very, very wasteful in front of goal. And I think obviously what happened with Klopp and Salah on the touchline, which I've never seen it happen before with Mo Salah. Cool, he was dropped, but he's not been playing well. If you speak to Liverpool fans, he ain't played well for a couple of seasons when it comes to the business end. He hasn't. They miss a lot of chances, man. I saw a compilation of Nunez's misses. Even some of them I hadn't even seen.
Was it on Comedy Central by any chance?
No, where did I see it? It probably, you know what? It probably was Twitter, if I'm going to be honest. But yeah, Wes, you can't. I can see why Liverpool fans have had enough of him. Seriously, man, because you can't. I know it's his second season now. Sorry, it's his second. You can't be missing them chances, man. You can't be missing them kind of chances in games of football. It's insane. I mean, one of them he went round the goalkeeper and hit the post. Yeah, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, Liverpool's a weird one because they're not the most confident. I actually did think they would draw against West Ham, and they did. So you're actually playing them. I think you're playing them at a perfect time, mate. To be honest, I think you're playing them at a perfect time. You couldn't have picked. I know your record's not great there, but you could have picked a better time to play them.
Yeah, honestly. But then it's just one. I feel like we are so cursed at Anfield. It's unbelievable. Like you look at last season, we get back to 3-3 in like the last minute, literally from kickoff, concede straight away. Like I think it was like the year before another a deflected goal. I think year before that was a deflected goal, and I know there was a time that even I went to Anfield and you got the Sissoko chance that blazes over the bar, and then later on in the game,
yeah,
you get the Alderweireld kind of own goal where Lloris decides to just chuck the ball at him from about 3 yards out, which was kind of him. So it's just little things like that, and you're just going, when are we going to catch a break at Anfield? And I'm hopeful that it's going to be this coming Sunday. But again, like who knows? Because I think the reaction from Spurs in the next 2 games will tell Ange a lot about the players and the squad moving forwards, because we've lost the big game, we've lost the derby, we've got another London derby, and we hate Chelsea and they hate us with a passion. So the reaction coming into that game will be huge, and then dependent on the result of that, it's like, okay, we're going to go to Anfield now, and they'll want to still think as a team that, okay, we might not be able to win the league, but we still want to finish strong. Obviously, Klopp's farewell tour, which is going grand, I have to say. So I can't wait for Jurgen to leave, because we might win at Anfield next year. Who knows? So I think, like you say,
how are you feeling about the 2 games, man? Are you more confident with the Chelsea one or Liverpool one? Why are you feeling?
Well, I never usually go to Stamford Bridge for certain reasons, skin color being one of them. But I'm going tomorrow because I'm feeling if this is the time, if there's ever a time for us to beat Chelsea, it's now, because of the way that they are. And granted, we've been hit and miss since the turn of the year, but it could be one of those where the state of the both clubs, I think we're in probably one of our best positions to beat Chelsea for a very long time. I don't think any Spurs fan could really say that. Like, you would look at both teams and on paper, and you would argue that Spurs have a better squad than Chelsea at the minute. But having said that, it's Chelsea away, so yeah, Christ knows what's going to happen. To be fair, Liverpool again, I think you nailed it. We're playing them at a good time. They're bang out of form. But yeah, I think again, if both games were at home, I'd be feeling a lot more confident because our home record, by and large, is very good this year. So yeah, it's just one of them because it's away. There's that little bit of uncertainty in there, but I think we've picked a good time, or the fixture list has picked a good time for us perhaps to go there. It just wouldn't have happened. You wouldn't have thought off the back of an North London derby, which would have taken a lot out of everybody concerned. So yeah, I'm hopeful for 6 points. I think that then really puts something on Villa to go and put pressure on them to keep on getting results. And it's just that City game where I think every Spurs fan at the moment wants Ange to play the under-18s or something, just to stop you not winning the league. So I don't know
what Villa's fixtures are actually. Oh, they've got Brighton all over the place. They've got Brighton away.
Yeah,
and they have Liverpool at home.
That'll be a big game. That'll be a huge game.
And in between that, they've got the
Conference League.
The Conference League. But yeah, they got Liverpool's going to be interesting. And Brighton have they've been on the beach, man. They have been on the beach.
Yeah. No, I'd agree with that. But yeah, if you were to give me some predictions, Albert, I think we'd win 2-1 tomorrow, and sneak it 3-2 on Sunday. But what we can't afford, I don't think we can afford, and it's going to happen because it's the way we play. And if Salah starts, he's going to have an absolute field day on Sunday because the high line, defending on the halfway line, I think as you saw on Sunday, one ball over the top and you guys are in. And Liverpool will be the same. And maybe I'm hoping it'll be Nunes that's on the end of it, because if it is, then we might come out of a clean sheet. Because you mentioned Nunes and his finishing. He's just so erratic. Like, he misses easy chances, but then the hard ones, he twats it and it goes top corner, and you go in, how on earth has he scored that? Like, how on earth has he done that? But then at the same time, when he misses the easy chances, again, you go in, how on earth has he done that? And I think that is the phrase to sum up Nunes. Like,
with the Liverpool game, with the Liverpool game, you definitely got to try and get ahead in that one, man. That it'd be interesting how they respond. It'd be interesting who they start actually, because obviously they haven't got Jota, who's a lethal finisher. Diaz, good runner of the ball, but just again can't find the back of the net. So if you can go 1-0 up in that game, it'd be interesting. Yeah,
no, definitely, and I also think the midfield battle in the Liverpool game will be really, really interesting. Like, does Endo start? Will he go with Endo, McAllister, Gravenberch, who I think is a fabulous footballer, I have to say, or does he throw in Harvey Elliott in there? Curtis Jones, does he play? And stuff like that as well. I think with the Chelsea game, the midfield in particular kind of almost picks itself. It's likely that it will be Enzo, Caicedo, Gallagher in there, and then Cole Palmer, you just tell him to go where he wants, basically. And we'll get the ball to you, Cole, and you help us out. But yeah, I think we've got an interesting week ahead. Obviously, two massively important games in our quest for Champions League football. Don't get me wrong. I know I mentioned earlier that I don't think we're ready for it, but if we got it, I'm not gonna complain, I'm not gonna grumble. But I think it would take a lot more work for the club in the transfer market to get the players in that are of the right quality, but also shift players out and get rid of the deadwood. So I think whereas Europa League, I don't think the jump will be as big. Don't get me wrong, there's some good teams in the Europa League. We've seen that this year. But I think the jump for us would be a bit more comfortable, and I think it would be a good stepping stone for us. But Uncle Albert, I believe that is us done for the evening. Before we go, I'm just trying to find it because it's all over the place. Bit like me today. I will find it. I am going to find it in a second.
Well, mate, it's gone, bro.
I can't find it. Fuming. Can't find it. Where is it? Here we go. This podcast is sponsored by Kofa. Kickoff Football Academy, Milton Keynes, is the #1 place for your child to come and develop their footballing skills. So we do lots and lots of sessions throughout the week, such as one-to-ones. We run mini kicker sessions. We've got a holiday camp coming up. We're getting inquiries for birthday parties now as well. We also do team coaching, girls football, skills centre, after school football, and so much more. So if you are in the Dele Alli country of Milton Keynes, please get in touch with us because we would love to help your child with their footballing skills. Before we go, Uncle Albert, it's been an absolute pleasure. The vibes have been immaculate. We may have to speak to that admin of the group chat to get you in a bit more regular on the show. I will speak to the boss, Hollie, and see if we can get you on, because it has been good to catch up with you and dissect a few things. But where can everybody find you doing your thing?
Yeah, I did say to Hollie, I said, are you sure you want me to come on? Are you really sure you want to come on? Because probably many of the people in the chat might know this. When we played Tottenham at the Emirates, I think it would have been 2 derbies ago. And I said, whatever the result is, I would definitely come on. Obviously, Arsenal won it. So it was a beautiful, it was me, Dara from Spurs Views, and Patrick. I could see he was seething there, in the little corner there. And Hollie, I know Hollie loves me, but I think she's probably regretting having me on, to be honest with you. But it happened. But no, thank you for the plug. But yeah, I have my own channel, people. I understand there's Tottenham people in the chat. It's probably a decent chance you might not subscribe, which is fine. I can live with that. But I do content which is not just Arsenal. So yeah, come and check us out, Albert JTV, across Instagram and also YouTube and Twitter.
Perfect. And before we go, Albert, because you haven't heard this in a while, my outro. So it's Twitter for me is @Wezo10, the unofficial Moussa Dembele fan account. Usually tweeting things about the best Belgians to play in the Premier League, but none. Instagram is @Wezo32, usually at a Spurs game. As I mentioned earlier, I am at the Bridge tomorrow, not at Anfield on Sunday because I am working. So yeah, but usually at a Spurs game. Like I say, I'm at the Bridge tomorrow, so looking forward to my first visit there. Well, I say that, I'm not really, but you do what you do for your team and your club. And then at Kickoff Football Academy or at Kofa MK across the socials for football coaching. And then, as I mentioned last week to you, Uncle Albert, that Hollie bullied me into doing some football content. So it's at WM32 Football on TikTok, on Instagram, and on YouTube for some little bits and pieces as well. But that is a wrap for us all tonight. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to Hollie's channel, and as we always say, come on you Spurs.